Good morning. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, President Grimson, for inviting me here today and Planet Labs. And also, Dr. Finner, this is going to be an excellent 3 days. We really look forward to contributing. And if it's possible to get the slides up, sir? Yep. So my role on the panel today is going to be to discuss perhaps a new perspective, new entrants coming into the space community. And me and my background, being at NASA for about 10 years, yeah, there's slides that needs to be put up. Thank you. It's a really exciting time. There are new entrants that are coming into aerospace every single couple of weeks, it seems. And so what I want to really get a message across is that new data are coming, and tools associated with that data and information will be coming online that would allow for people to understand the state of the world as it is and make better decisions. So it is to unleash the power of Earth observations data. Great. So let me tell you this story actually through our perspective, through Planet Labs. And again, the main message is that new information sources are coming online, taking advantage of a number of pieces of technology that make this possible. But first, let me tell you about our motivation at Planet. This image is known as the Blue Marble. It was taken in 1972 in the last human mission to the moon. And this single picture of the planet perhaps made a profound impact on our understanding of us living on this fragile planet. And also in 1972 was the first year that NASA and USGS launched and operated the Landsat program. And so as Barbara mentioned, that the data that was opened up not too long ago, that is data that actually has been collected for the last 40 years. And this is a global good of data that allows researchers to understand how the planet has changed over the last 40 years. What happens when the population doubles and our cities grow and our forests shrink and the ice caps melt. But we seem to be in a place today where we do understand that change is occurring, but we do lack the actionable information necessary in order to make a better decision and do something about it. So that's our motivation at Planet. So our first mission is to make information about the changing planet visible, accessible, and actionable. And in order to do that, it starts with a new data set. So this is our satellite. It's 5 kilograms. You can pick it up. This spacecraft, albeit is extremely small, but it is highly capable and has all of the same types of systems that are necessary to work in space. And what has made this possible to miniaturize this is really the consumer electronics industry. So leveraging innovations from other sectors, understanding the space environment, then building a satellite from the ground up, all internally in our organization. And not only have we built the satellite, but we've launched them. This is actually a video taken from an astronaut. And you can see, coming up shortly, 2 of our satellites being ejected from the International Space Station. There they go. And this is quite actually amazing to see your satellites being ejected in space. Normally, last time you see it is when you bolt it to an upper stage of a launch vehicle and hope that it doesn't explode. And so not only have we launched these, but then we learn how to operate them. We learn how to process the data. And if these are so small, we can mass produce them. And if you can mass produce them, then you can come up with new mission concepts. So our mission is to image the whole world every day. And to do that, it requires a little bit more than 100 satellites in a polar orbit that effectively work together as a line scanner for the planet. So as the Earth rotates underneath it, we capture a new image of the entire Earth's surface every 24 hours. We chose to do this at a spatial resolution that's about 3 to 5 meters per pixel, which really allows for us to see global change, and put all of that data on the web with modern tools. And so that spatial resolution doesn't jeopardize personal privacy issues or national security issues, so that we can really democratize its access and increase the number of users that get information about the planet. So we've launched 71 satellites into space over the last year and a half. And I want to show you a couple of images of this to show you some of the things that we're seeing. So agriculture. That one was in Arizona. Here is a mine in Wyoming. The Suez Canal to look at global shipping. Here's a new energy infrastructure, solar farm in China, where the most recent image was about 6 months previously and it didn't exist. Here is a reservoir level, which there's a large drought that's occurring right now in Brazil, and you can actually see that change. Aquaculture in China. And glaciers. This one happens to be in Canada. And while these images are beautiful, what's really insightful about them is to actually see the change. So this animation shows an image from a year ago versus when we took a picture. Ours is on the right. And this is showing infrastructure development off the Han River in China. You can see dirt roads become paved, and you can see pylons and bridges actually become complete. The amount of change that we're seeing in urban infrastructure is really quite extraordinary. In this example, this shows, we captured an image a day after a flood in Nevada. The most recent Landsat image before it was about 2 weeks earlier, so this shows a little bit of change that you can see over the course of 2 days. And what's interesting about this is you can actually see the areas where it's most likely going to flood. And so that helps you actually understand urban planning and build in infrastructure in such a way that really mitigates the potential loss of infrastructure when calamities do occur. This is an example of daily change. What captured our attention to this image was a fire. And we looked in the Landsat archive, and they happened to take a picture the day before. So this shows an example of what you can see on a daily basis. This is in Brazil, and it's modern practice to burn sugarcane before you cultivate it. And not only can you actually see that change happening every day, but you can see in the lower portion there that how many lines of sugarcane was actually cultivated in that very same day. So this is an example of getting new access to new information where you understand the state of the world as it is today and how much that has changed from the day before. So our planet is drastically, dramatically changing constantly. And with the right types of tools, then we can make better decisions. So what we're building at Planet, the data is very useful, but what we're building is really a platform for people to get access to it. And that is for companies and for governments and for nonprofit organizations and scientific organizations, because we can't think about all of the different innovations that can come out of understanding the state of the world as it is today. And so we're actually making that accessible via the web for people to build their own applications on top of it. So in summary, at Planet, our mission is to image the whole Earth every day and make it visible so that we can actually see context in how things are on the planet and make it accessible for people to get access to it and then ultimately allow it to be actionable. In closing, I do want to mention something about Iceland. So President Grinson and Dagfinnur came and visited us at Planet about 6 months ago in San Francisco. And immediately, the president saw the value to this, not only to this community here, but then also in general to creating a resilient society and understanding how to make data-driven decisions. And for us, we began to understand a lot more about what Iceland has to offer. And we are, albeit a very small organization, but we are a global company. We have ground stations in New Zealand and throughout the United States, also in Germany and in the UK. And as we build out our capability of being global, Iceland offers many things. For instance, not only its location in a high latitude location for potential ground stations, but also in what they're building with respect to a green data storage and compute capability here in Iceland due to the enormous amount of power that they have developed. So as a first step, I'm happy to say that one of the Nordic's premier IT company, an Iceland company called Advanja, we're in discussions with them for hosting an archive of our data here in Iceland, and we hope that that is going to be the first step of Planet being a lot more present here. So with that, thank you very much. Really, really happy to be here and look forward to the next 3 days of discussions.